These lines are feeling so well rehearsed in the doorway, in the doorway. Look at the time.
How you doing, everybody? My name is Jonathan Rizzo. I'm here with TTN HD Productions at the Filmmaker Shindig. I'm here with my man Dan Marshall all night. Oh man, this is my man Dan. You are the man, dancer of the year.
Thank you.
Tell us what happened at Boston International Film Night.
Well, I was the events and special entertainment coordinator for the festival this year, which was a great pleasure. And then I saw they have a horror fest on a Friday night. So I decided to do my thriller recreation dance, you know, which is basically all the dance that Michael Jackson and his entourage did, and do it for the crowd right before they watch all the horror movies, which was a good idea, I guess, you know?
That was awesome. Everybody loved it.
It was fun.
It was amazing.
Very receptive crowd.
Yeah, they were. So what's gonna happen tonight?
Well, tonight, you know, in honor of Michael Jackson's passing, I'm reviving pretty much most of my recreation of his choreography. I'm gonna do Smooth Criminal, which is why I'm act up like this. Beat It, Billie Jean, Black or White, and Thriller. So I'm gonna be doing all those videos tonight. And definitely was a prolific artist that affected a lot of people in the world, millions and millions of people. And I feel he deserved an honest tribute. I've done tributes for Fred Astaire, for Elvis Presley, different artists. I like to get in their shoes for a bit and really do a serious job at it. No mocking.
That's amazing, dude. You know, and Michael Jackson is one of the best out there in my eyes. You know, I love watching him dance. Tell me about your own. Tell me what you do for dancing. Tell me about. You've got a long history of dancing. You work with a lot of people. Tell me about what's going on.
Well, I'm the original show-off. You know, you see that movie Saturday Night Fever about John Travolta? That was my life. You know, I was always on the dance floor as a disco king as a kid. The 80s, we still had disco in Israel, so it was nice, disco and pop. And I was rocking the parties. I couldn't really go to clubs, I was too young, but we had a lot of parties. I was lucky. We had a lot of parties till like 2 a.m. when I was a kid. And it wasn't no alcohol, it was just dancing. And a lot of kissing though, you know?
Dancing and kissing.
Yeah, everybody kissed everybody. We played Spin the Bottle and Truth or Dare. Truth or Dare was the least popular because it took too long and no action was exemplified, you know. So we like much more Spin the Bottle and other types of games. And anyway, when I turned 14, my friends knew I was a dancer, and I had the opportunity to join a dance company for teenagers with a famous choreographer. And all my friends told me I should do it, so I was never teased. I was always asked to show my new moves. And I ended up doing African American jazz in Israel for about 3/4 of a year. I performed 11 times. We even performed for the Air Force. I was the only guy, and there were 21 women, so at the time my lucky number was 21. Kind of got desensitized to women after all these years because, you know, you're there, you're like the only man, and believe me, they're gonna rule you. They're in charge. Don't get any ideas. The women are in charge. So, but you learn a lot, and the choreographer was really excellent. He was 56 years old and could still do those huge splits across the stage. And, then I came to the United States in 1989. I was 15 and a half. And I continued my dancing in school. I wanted to do a tribute to an artist in high school in 1991. So I did a tribute to Elvis, and then I did a tribute to Michael Jackson. What you're gonna see tonight is like I believe the most accurate recreation of his choreography, because I bought a Mitsubishi Jog Shuttle VCR in 1991. It was very expensive back then, in order to be able to like stick figure all of his dances, so because they were too quick to like dime stop on a regular VCR, so I had to do it frame by frame, because every frame is doing something different. He's an amazing choreographer, an amazing artist, and he learned from this guy called Papi Taco, who's a legendary funk dancer, and that's actually who taught Michael Jackson most of the move, but most people don't know that. But he's his choreographer for many of his dances. And then years later, I got into funk, I got into hip hop, I got into modern dance, jazz, Latin dances of every kind, folk dancing from around the world. And I kept teaching, and now it's been good 25 years of dancing, if not longer, 27 years. And I love it. I love singing. I love entertaining. I love getting the crowd mesmerized. I love getting them just inspired and happy. And I love like bringing people back in time. With Michael Jackson, you can definitely do that. With Fred Astaire, you can do it. It's just a pleasure to step into their shoes for a second,
Yeah, I bet. And let's talk about technique for a minute. You have very smooth movements when you're dancing. When you're doing the moonwalk, for example, and you're popping and locking like Michael Jackson really did. Tell me about making your body do these things and how your technique.
Part of it is just sheer guts, guts and glory. You just go in, you do it, and you work on it, and sometimes you come home with a tough back pain, But the other part is that, as I said, I started formal dancing at the age of 14, and I did African American jazz then, and I got a really good solid base of technique at an age after I'd already become a dancer. So I wasn't starting technique before I knew how to dance. Rather, it was just enhancing my dancing, and that's really key. Because a lot of people start with their technique, and then they can't leave it alone, and they can't improvise, which is why modern dancing has been so prolific for the dancing world, because modern dancing really introduced improvising together with technique, and that's very important. So I have, in college, I studied for 5 years, 5.5 years actually. I did a bachelor in mechanical engineering, and I took all the dance courses to qualify for a bachelor in dance, but I performed on my own. So I took jazz, ballet, modern dance, everything, and I kept doing it afterwards. So that's why I get my solid technique, but I still got the street style.
Yeah, that's awesome. You teach a lot, you said?
Yeah, I've been teaching since 1993. I've been teaching everything, dancing, martial arts. I do Kung Fu for 25 years, on and off. And the martial arts actually helps a lot.
I bet.
Yeah.
Your flow and your movements and fluidity.
Thank you. Yeah, and then recently, I've been acting a lot recently. Been delving into it, and stage presence that I have helps me a lot with the acting. But basically, I've been studying the Meisner technique now for over a year and a half, and I'm sticking to it because
What is that? What is
Meisner, Sanford Meisner, came up with this great acting. It's not really a technique, rather it's a way to get in touch with who you are and with the other person very, very quickly, and feel your intuition in a very high level, so that you're able to connect right away. You're able to change with the changing emotion. You're able to really get into a character, but you can still be in control, which is less of a factor in the method. In the method, you're less in control because you really go so deep into reality, something you imagine that's real. But in Meisner, you focus more on imaginary circumstances. You take something real, but you impose imaginary circumstances on it, so that you're able to actually, that's Jenna right there photographing us. She's hot tonight. Jenna always looks good. Great actress. You should check her in a Brotherhood. She did great. And so basically, in Meisner allows you to still have the ability to change, because it's about the other actor you're acting with, not about you.
Yeah.
When you're doing a monologue, the method is really wonderful.
Really?
Any roles like when Tom Cruise did the Samurai movie, there's so many moments where he's just alone and it's all about him, and his method acting is just brilliant. I'm sure he uses whatever he can use after all these years, but he's a method actor, and for certain role the method is extremely powerful, while for others Meisner is more flexible, and it's better for interactive scenarios.
So do you have any quick tips for actors or dancers out there, or even martial artists? What would you give to people coming to you for advice on how to do what they do?
Well, I honestly believe that there's a lot of talent out there, but what separates a successful actor from a not so successful actor, besides obviously luck and connection, is how hard they fight for it, how much they really want it, and how much they really focus about being an actor.
Determination.
Determination, and you gotta keep studying. Don't stop studying, because otherwise even the best actor will lose his chops. It'll go rusty, and you never know that audition that you're gonna go to. If you're rusty, you're not gonna get this role that could have been a role of a lifetime. Don't do too many auditions. It's good to get experience. It's better to do an audition class and get the experience there. Do fewer auditions, but work your butt off for those auditions. And every time you walk into that room, be impressive. And that's a much better impression on those casting directors than doing hundreds of auditions and being so tired and not really practicing your script and not knowing it inside and out and not really giving it everything you have.